But the rational root test really is just a process. So, rational root test. Alice, you said we need to look at this 35. This is our way to find the possible rational roots. Not the guaranteed rational roots, but the possible rational roots. So we're going to look at the factors of 35. What are the factors of 35? 7 and 5? 35 and 1? We also have to look at the factors of the lead coefficient, which happens to be 1. So the factors of 1 are, and the only thing that we're missing, all of these could be plus or minus. So we could have had a -7 and a -5. We could have had a -35, and a -1. So with the rational root test, we're going to look at the factors of the constant, and we're going to look at the factors of the lead coefficient. And then to figure out what are the possible rational roots. So the possible roots. Wow, there's a delay. Does anybody remember how to do this? Just Alice? You take the factors of the constant and you put them over the factors of the lead coefficient. And you have to do this for all of them. So I could have plus or minus 5, plus or minus 35, plus or minus 1, and all of those could be over which leads us to, we could have a positive 7, a -7, a positive 5, -5, so on and so forth. And all of those roots are possible. So then how would you figure out which one is correct? Go ahead and take 30 seconds. Discuss in your groups. Ideas? How can we figure out which one of those is actually a root? Because we have 8 of them. Jenna?
You can plug each one of them into the equation when it's set to 0.
Plug in and see if it makes 0.
Yeah.
Sure, so we could do that. Upsides? It works. Downsides? No one wants to do that. Takes forever. The calculations there, unless I have a calculator, the calculations are pretty intense. Who wants to do 35 cubed?
I'm just going to guess that's not it, and then save it for last.
That's fair. I agree with Tony. I'm going to avoid that one like the Black Plague unless I have to, right?
No, you never have to, because if none of the other ones work, then that one works. So you just work with the easy number.
That assumes that it actually had a rational root. There are times when no rational roots will work.
Then
But hey.
Just assume it works.
All right. Other thoughts? Alice?
Well, it's really easy to see if one works, because you just look at the coefficients. Or, in this case, all the coefficients are positive, so the x, our 0 cannot be a positive number. Otherwise, it's just going to look like it would be a positive number.
So you're thinking hey, if I plug in these numbers, if I tried to plug in a positive number, there's no way any of those positive rational roots are going to work because it's going to be plus, 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 plus. That works for this one. That's a great thought for this one. Bottom line is determining which one is correct really is going to require some thinking. You're either going to try all of them because you're not willing to think, or you're going to do what Alice is doing right now and, hey, I'm not even going to try the positives because those aren't going to work. So really you can avoid a lot of work if you do think. So I'm not going to try the positives. So how am I going to figure out which of the negative ones would work then, Alice? And I probably shouldn't have just asked Alice.
Well, I know it's not -1 because I would have 1 plus 9 minus 27 plus 35. And then, I mean, you can just like, at this point, you just have 5, 7, and 35. So I would just try them, starting from the least first.
Sure. And so we could go and we could plug those in individually, or we also have that choice. Alice said we could use synthetic division, which is nice because you don't have to cube anything, right? So she's saying, hey, we're down to -5, -7, and -35 at this point. If we want to try those, if I set up synthetic division, we've got 1, 9, 27, 35. We talked about this process yesterday. Like she said, maybe start with the least. -5 is not a bad choice. And if we actually use that, it'll work out quite nicely. 1 multiplied by -5. 4 multiplied by -5. 7 multiplied by -5. And so we realize that -5 is a 0, which means what was one of the linear factors? X plus 5. And then we still have all of the stuff that we just found. So again, the rational root test, we're going to take the factors of the constant, the factors of the lead coefficient, and you have to divide all of those, and so you get this huge long list. And then you have to think about which ones would you not even want to try, because you don't want to do that much work. And you can either plug them in to see which one works, or you can use synthetic division and go from there.